Hello everyone, it's Old Guardian here. In this Warcraft Rumble HEROIC campaign guide, I'm going to show you the easiest way to take down Rend Blackhand in Blackrock Mountain. Rend is one of the faster heroics because Rend is one of these patrolling bosses, and with patrolling bosses you can often just ambush them. So what happens in this map is that Rend is going to go around this circle, and whenever Rend reaches one of these positions where there's already eggs, then Rend is going to spawn a new group of eggs. If you send minis to the circle, then they are going to circle this counterclockwise, and while Rend is circling clockwise. And Rend is also going to send minis from the sides, from the gates there, and those minis are then going to go towards your base. But much of that is not going to matter because you're going to ambush Rend fairly quickly. So I cannot really ambush Rend over here, I'm not fast enough, but I'm going to ambush Rend over here. And how do I do that? Well, first I send somebody to clear the eggs. My favorite mini for that is the Darkspear Troll. Darkspear Troll preferably with poison, so then it's going to also contribute against Rend. It can clear out these eggs, and then I'm going to send Harpies. And Darkspear Troll and the Harpies are going to move over here. Then I'm going to use Quillboard to turn Rend around, and the Harpies and the Darkspear Troll are going to hit into Rend from behind. And what happens is that Rend is going to lose its mount, and then when Rend is going to lose its mount, it's going to cast Living Bomb on everything in the map. So every mini of yours in the map is going to just spontaneously combust after Rend is dropped down. And you have two alternatives to handle that. You can either use Cheat Death, so that you will keep your army alive and keep attacking Rend. And at that point, once Rend is dismounted, Rend can no longer attack air units. So that's why Harpies are so incredibly good here. Rend is going to start making its way towards your base. Or alternatively, you can just send more units out here once your existing units die. So that's the gist of things. What sort of other considerations do you have here? Well, Darkspear Troll is my favorite for taking down the eggs, but there are some alternatives. Witch Doctor, Pyromancer are some of the alternatives here, so you have a little bit of leeway there. Then you also do need to defend your base, because some of the minis from Rend are going to be fast enough that they are going to attack your base. In particular, there's going to be Molten Giants, and you want to steal the Molten Giant with a Banshee. Molten Giant can come from multiple directions, and it can also sometimes come with friends. So sometimes you need to use, for example, this line of sight issue, similar to heroic Ysera. So if your Molten Giant is coming from here, together with a Flame Waker, then a properly timed Banshee here is going to be able to steal the Molten Giant. Flame Waker will not be able to respond. You won't end up stealing the egg if you don't put the Banshee too early. And then that Molten Giant is going to fight against the Flame Waker and everything is going to be fine. Sometimes there's also stuff like Drakes, Pyromancers with Firehammer coming, and you may need to send some minis against those as well. Because there are 4 core minis in this one, because you need some mini to clear the eggs, so preferably the Troll. Then you need the mini that's going to deal damage to Rend, and that's preferably going to be Harpies. I actually also did this with a resistant Gargoyle and Fairy Dragon with resistant, but that wasn't as good. And I also did this with Chimera instead of Harpies, but that also wasn't as good, because when you send a Chimera out there, then typically the Chimera is too expensive and you just struggle with your gold a little bit. So Harpies it is. And then you need something to turn Rend around, and that's preferably the Quillboard. It's resistant against elemental damage, cheap, unbound, just perfect. And then there's the Banshee to handle the Molten Giant, which is the sturdiest of the enemies that are going to come to your base. All the gold is conveniently located right next to your base, so you will also be able to start mining here a little bit as your attack progresses. And that's basically the story of Rend. So let's take a look at how this goes with all 6 factions in action. So to get things started, we have Alliance. Alright, I have the Troll, so I'm sending the Troll to clear the eggs. And I wait a little bit for the Troll to clear a couple of eggs, and then before it shoots the 3rd egg, I can drop the Harpies. So then the Harpies won't get in any trouble, and the Harpies are going in. We had a Molten Giant coming from the left, so I'm sending a Banshee out there. There you have to check into 2 places a little bit, because you have to get that Banshee at the right time. And now I'm just killing Rend's mount, and this time I didn't have a cheated in here, so Rend was able to dismount, but I can just send more Harpies out there and more damage dealers, and they are just going to race Rend down before my base goes down, and that's Rend down with Alliance. Next up, we're doing Rend with Beast. Typically I need like 2 or 3 attempts so that I see what's coming from where, so that I know I can also change my army a little bit, and at least I can know where do I want to send a Banshee, where do I want to send various minis to counter what Rend is going to send at me. But basically the same idea, the troll. And here note that the Quillbore timing is crucial, and Rend has quite a big acquisition range actually, so you may need to practice that a little bit. If you time it too late, then Rend is just going to kill your hobbies. But once you have that timing right, then boom, Rend is now down. This was one of the trickier ones because here a Drake arrives with Rend. But as you can see, using the mini that is clearing the Whelpex, here the Darkspear Troll, is also pretty good at clearing the Drake. So that helped me over here, and then I was able to just use hobbies and use Quillbore again and take Rend down. Then Rend with Blackrock, and well, it's the same story that keeps repeating. If I have a chance to mine here early, I will try to take that. And base will handle those early whelps. Here the troll kills all of those, then I can send hobbies, and then the right timing of this Quillbore so that before Rend acquires the target. And there we go, those are going down. There was the Pyromancer plus Firehammer coming in this one. Those are a little bit of a tricky pair, and then the Molten Giant from the top, so I needed Banshee for that. Now Rend is dismounted, but Rend is coming for my base, so I need a little bit of gold. And here we can have some hobbies coming, and I can distract Rend a little bit to keep it away from my base for just a tiny moment, which is enough for the hobbies to take it down, and boom, Rend goes down. You can do this at lower levels too. This is the lowest level clear I did of this one. Obviously this was already a little bit trickier because of the low levels, but I still got this done in 5 minutes actually. I checked the length of the recording when I started trying and when I got it done, and that was 5 minutes overall. So again, same idea. There's the troll, there's the harpies. I barely got that Quillbore out there in time. A little bit of an annoying pair there with the Flamewaker plus Firehammer. I barely managed to survive that one. I can't save my minis from the Living Bomb. I didn't have enough time to cheat death there, but I can send new harpies and I can distract. And I'm trying to distract the Pyromancer a little bit to avoid at least a hit on my base, and I barely get it done, but that was of course minus 5.1 levels, so pretty low. Next up, Rend with Horde. So here again, I have a miner. If I have a miner, I do like to mine early, if at all possible. Get the troll out there, wait for the troll to clear some of the eggs, then drop the harpies so the harpies don't end up fighting against those. There was a Firehammer coming from there now, so I needed something to fight against that one. I decided to send Grom out there. And this time I'm using the cheat death plan, so cheat death allows the harpies to survive, so the same harpies can keep fighting against Rend. And I think there's enough time here to just raise the Molten Giant, and there is, and boom, Rend goes down. And one more time with the Undead. Note that I don't like Baron Rivendare here, because those skeletons are going to pop some of the eggs, and that means that there's even more whelps coming, and that's usually just worse than not having those skeletons around. So that's why we're doing it with Sylvanas this time, getting that turn, and they're trying to get the harpy. Yes, we were able to get the line of sight just right so that the Flamewaker would not kill the harpy, and wasn't fast enough to get the cheat death out there as well. Oftentimes I find that I'm not fast enough. It really depends on the opener. Sometimes you do have the tools to get the cheat death out there. I want the troll out there to start getting poison stacks on Rend, and then I can get harpies to get more poison stacks on Rend, and a little bit of distraction at the end, and boom, Rend goes down. So overall, that's just how you take down Rend in Heroic. Thank you for watching. Click like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and a special thanks to all of my Patreon supporters, YouTube members and Twitch subscribers who make all of these videos possible.